It is always a wonderful treat for me to speak to Amber Lawrence because she is so many things: performer, songwriter, radio host, all Golden Guitar winner. So I'm really excited to speak to you again, Amber, for the first time on Zoom. So
Yeah.
hello.
Oh, thank you. Yes, luckily I checked my memo about half an hour ago. I went, oh, yep, there's a video. Quick, quick. Get
Yes, I think
dressed.
it's a recent skill that we've all had to get is the quick video ready presence.
That's
Um,
true.
and of course, you are used to being on video though, because you have many wonderful film clips, and the latest is for your single "Fill It Up."
Yep.
And "Fill It Up" sounds like it was written for the times we've just been through, but I read that you actually wrote it at the end of
Mm.
2019. So, do you feel like you had a crystal ball?
Well, unfortunately, yes. It was pretty shocking, to be honest, when I'd written it and recorded it and wrote and set it for release in March 2020. So it was scheduled for
Oh
release.
wow!
And the first line of the song is "That was a hard year, but we made it." And I'm like, okay, well, definitely can't release this song now. And it just kept rolling on. We kept pushing the release back, in July we'll release it in July. No, all right, well, we'll release it in January 2021. And again, it just was the wrong timing. And well, hopefully it's okay timing now, but yeah, it was almost like, oh my goodness, did I write this knowing what was coming?
Yeah, because lyrically it is really perfect. So maybe it's just that there've been a few
Yeah.
hard years going on.
Well, I mean, when I did write it, we'd just come out of some floods and the bushfires were all just starting, and the years before that were drought. So that's the second verse. We're done with the fire, done with the
Mm.
floods, done with the drought. But we do live in Australia, so unfortunately these lyrics are ever relevant.
I can't believe you've held on to it for 2 years. Did it feel almost like you were keeping a great secret, or did it feel like this? I'm never going to be able to get this song out.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I always knew. Like, I feel like it's a good song and it's catchy and it's everything that I love to release in a song. So I was excited that I had it, in the bag. Even though in the time since I was still writing and working towards the new album and always trying to write new songs, and nothing really ever shoved that one out of the way for being this single. So and also I didn't want to miss the moment of releasing it either. Like, oh, okay, well, that was a hard year, but we made it. But now that's not relevant either. So it's kind of all about timing and time of the year to release it. So look, I'm just glad that it's out and it feels like it's an okay moment to release it.
Yes, I think it's a perfect moment. But it also leads me to ask you, what are some of the things that have been filling you up or filling that proverbial cup over the past couple of years?
Yeah. Well, look, okay, like everyone, the verse opens with "fill up your cup with whiskey or wine." So, look, yes, I'm not going to lie and pretend I didn't fill up my cup with a lot of wine over the times. But it's definitely more than that. And I suppose like a toddler, he was what, a 1.5 when COVID started, and now he's 3.5.
No.
And just the ability to spend so much time with him, more so in hindsight, is the bigger blessing, because you don't realize it at the time, but the time with your kids goes so quickly. So now that he's 3.5, and today he gets home from school and he doesn't want to talk to me, and I'm like, oh my god, it's already at that. How was school? I don't know. so that was a blessing that filled me up. And like I say in this song, surrounded by the ones we love. So it's your friends. I mean, I just had great friendships that have got me through this time. It just whether it's dinner, or I didn't do many Zoom catch ups. That just got tiring pretty quickly, didn't it? But when we could actually meet in person and definitely have a few wines together, that's been what's filled me up. And getting back to music has definitely, but I time with family and friends is more important than anything for me.
And for those who don't know who that toddler is, Ike, who has the best hair on Instagram, I think,
Yeah.
appears on your social media. I personally love tracking his haircuts because I think this kid just has an abundance
He
of
does.
follicles.
It grows and grows and grows, absolutely. And he's got like a bucket cut. He's never had a haircut where his fringe didn't cover his forehead and the back of his neck. And my husband and I joke that when he's in his 50s, a dermatologist is going to see him and lift up his hair and go, oh my god, you've got the most pure skin I've ever seen, because he's got this hugely thick fringe that at this stage has never seen the sun. His forehead's never seen the sun. So it's quite funny.
Very handy. Nature's sunblock.
I know.
Now, the single before Fill It Up was I'm Coming Home, which was also in a way about filling up the cup of life.
Yeah.
And so too was Bring It Back, I think, which was the single before that. I think that was about the joy of experiencing live music. And I guess you possibly answer this question, because I was going to say, have you found over the past couple of years that there have been more enriching things than hard time things? I know you've had some other hard things going on, but overall, do you think in the wash of it, you've been able to see the positives?
Oh, yes, you definitely can. Because I think now that life is back to the rat race, we all have that moment where we go, oh, I remember lockdown. I mean, remember how horrible it was, but also how good it was. Just because you would wake up on the weekend and you didn't have to do anything because you were not allowed to do anything. So the stress was gone. But I think the one thing that I got the most out of as well, that I look back on and now being back on the road, that I again miss out on is, if you have children, they make friends, and when they all make friends at school, it turns out you probably all live near each other. So, right. So the kids and the family barbecues that happen on the weekends with all these people you've never met before, just because the kids play together, I've just really loved that, like making all these new friends who have kids exactly the same as you. So, if one kid's having a tantrum and it's not yours, like it's hallelujah. so that's probably like the best thing I look back on in lockdown, is all of the fun times we had because I wasn't working weekends. Right. Now I'm back to work weekends, and all these new friends, they're like, oh, we hate that you're a singer and you have to go away. Like they buy my songs and, they'll come to my show, I guess, when they can. But apart from that, they're like, oh, you're away again.
And yes, I did look at your tour schedule, and your shows are across weekends, which I guess is a practical thing, just so you can be at home during the week and then go on tour.
Yeah. And it's also just the kind of financial, like people aren't really going out to buy tickets Wednesday, Thursdays these days. Right. So you've just kind of go short and sharp, come home, unpack your bag, reset, and, do it all again.
Yeah. Now, Bring It Back, I saw had a remix, like a dance remix. Yes. And I can't imagine many country music songs do. So how did that come about?
Oh, look, I think it just had the potential, and again, all of the things you learn in lockdown is to stop worrying about rules, and like everyone's lives were turned upside down, and all of the things you thought that were going to happen never did, or everything changed. So it was just a matter of, this would sound really good with a nightclub beat to it, and who's there to say this is a bad idea? Nobody. So just really and I thought, maybe it'll make it onto some other playlists and just broaden who likes my music. And yeah, that was just, I guess, a bit of fun. I mean, I've never been to a nightclub and heard it play, but we'll see.
But there are a lot of nightclubs in the world, so maybe it's playing out there and you don't know.
I don't go to many to know.
Now, these three songs are all from your forthcoming album. So you mentioned that Fill It Up was recorded a couple of years ago. Well, recorded a couple of years ago. Have you recorded that album now in total? Right.
Yeah, it's in the can and it's ready to go. I've just got to decide on the name of the album and, kind of the artwork. But I'm honing in on that. Just keep on listening to the songs and working out what it's all about. The rest of the songs really aren't like these first three singles. Like the theme certainly changes from now. So it's it'll be interesting because there's some really raw songs on there. And I mean, like, it's hard to keep drawing from my life, so I had to kind of draw from other people's lives, and a close friend went through a divorce in lockdown, so I had to write a couple of songs about that, and so it's definitely not even though these first three songs are quite shiny and nice, it gets a bit grittier.
I think it's good to have a balance, a range of experiences that listeners can connect with.
Yeah. So I don't know what the next single will be, but definitely once you get the whole album and you listen through, you'll find a lot of highs and lows and light and shade.
So you mentioned you were thinking about what the album title is going to be. Do you tend to follow your instinct on those things? Like you play around with words and then when something feels right, you're like, that's the one.
Yeah, I definitely go through probably the same process every time. I mean, some albums, in the past, I guess some albums have had some song titles that have stood out as album, but it still took me a long time to get to that for the light bulb to click. So usually I come up with all these titles and I send them to the same friend every time. And she reminded me recently, she's like, this happened on your last album. And like me saying, I'm never going to come up with a title. I can't think of anything. And she's like, look harder, look harder into the songs. And so I still haven't really had the light bulb moment yet, but I'm getting closer.
And as a songwriter as well, do you tend to follow your instinct in terms of knowing when the song's cooked or almost, or like the right elements to put in it? Because you have really detailed songs. There are lots of rich stories in there, and also melodically really catchy. So I'm wondering if when you're constructing a song, when you're playing something to yourself, do you just have that feeling of, yep, okay, that's the right thing, or do you more intellectually tease it out?
That's a difficult one. But I think I think it's more that the gut instinct of knowing that there's enough in it. And, I think you always know when your song's not very good, even though you kind of want it to be, so you start kind of playing it to a few people going, what do you think of this song? Hoping that they'll tell you
yeah,
what you don't agree with. And eventually you get the feedback that, okay, yeah, that one needs to go into the like work on it pile. But, one thing I've learnt over time is that, redrafting your songs is the best thing you can do. Like you'll never make your song worse by trying to improve it.
Right.
So I the thing I love most actually is putting the demos on in my car, driving around, and because your brain's engaged driving, you'll find better words that'll like something that you thought worked in the writing session. Once your brain's kind of out of the picture, you'll find a better sentence or a better line,
right,
something that rhymes better or flows better in the song, and you just kind of pop that in instead. So yeah, I think just redrafting, not overthinking it though, because sometimes the best thing is what you've done first, but sometimes just kind of taking a few of the clunkier bits out and seeing how it goes.
But if you're in the car when that happens, do you have to just keep singing it to yourself, sing the change to yourself so you remember it?
Yeah, actually, but usually it is like such an obvious and better change that you remember it. So, but it's the fact that you actually are doing it, like rather than put the demos in your inbox and send it to your producer and never look at them again. Like for me, I put them in the Dropbox and then I play them in the car and I play them in the car and I swap out words, and all of a sudden I'm singing those words instead, and that's what I'll go to the studio with.
After I'd heard I'm Coming Home a few times, I realized I was singing it to myself. I thought, oh, that's an earworm. Do your own songs ever become earworms for you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think you could say, you'd have to be pretty self-obsessed for your own songs to become earworms. I mean, you do lose a bit of that distance between yourself and your songs. And, we all think that the latest song we wrote's our best song, of course. I suppose it's when my 3-year-old is singing it or is requesting that song in the car that I go, oh, that's interesting. So, and then I keep flogging another song going, no, but what about this one? What about this one? It's like, no. So that's like, I think there's something in that.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's quite a harsh critic based on what you said about his.
Absolutely.
Now you're up for a golden guitar in April, and you won a golden guitar last year. You have, in fact, won 5 golden guitars. You're becoming quite a fixture at these awards.
Look, I feel really proud, to have won 5 and to have hosted the awards and performed at the last few awards. And yeah, for you to say that, becoming quite a fixture is like such a lovely compliment, because it's a long time coming to be like recognised as, a familiar face in that environment. So yeah, I haven't really missed a red carpet for 15 years or attended the awards. So this will be, it'll be good. It just seems weird to still be nominated in March,
Yeah. And then, of course, because you'll probably be nominated again next year, there will be a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a short turnaround time. But who knows, because it's going to be a really tough year of releases. And but yeah, we certainly aim for that. And I mean, it's hard. You take all your success based on those kind of things, and it's really hard to not measure success other ways. But we do know that there are other ways to measure success in music. But but Golden Guitars is pretty nice.
Yeah, they're very, very nice. And now, I mentioned at the top, one of the other things you do is host radio programs. You have a show on iHeart Country. You are sometimes filling in for Becky Cole on Saturday Night Country. When did that part of your work commence?
Yeah, that actually started a long time ago. In 2010, the current host of Saturday Night Country at the time, John Nutting, he saw me present an awards show in Mildura. And then he asked me to fill in for him on Saturday Night Country. And I did it for about 6 weeks. And back then it was live. So that was 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. live radio.
Right.
And I think I'd probably hate to listen to it now because that's like, 13 years ago. But that's when I got my first foot in the door for radio. And, little projects have come along the way, and lots of different hosting events and awards. And I do like that side of things, actually. I totally go into a different space being on the other side. And, I definitely enjoy it.
It's really quite a separate skill set. I mean, I'm sure performing helps you get there, but a lot of people who haven't seen a radio panel before wouldn't know how much goes on with just a number of things you have to keep in the air at once.
Yes, yeah, and it's actually really it's so much easier being the person here, sitting here being interviewed. What you're doing is hard because you're trying to think for the next question while you're still trying to listen to make sure that your next question is connected to what I'm saying, but doesn't, and so you're thinking and you're listening and you don't want to ask a question that's unrelated because you're too prepared and you didn't listen. And so I do find that you've got to really be in the moment, but be prepared. And you would know that.
Yes, except I don't have to worry about radio station stings or anything like that. I just got to focus on one thing. I think that kind of, radio hosting is difficult and not unrelated. Therefore, here is the segue to your social media content, which is phenomenal. It is a hard thing to do well, to get right, and to keep coming up with ideas. And I noticed over the past couple of years, you were great at keeping up that side of things. You now have a TikTok account with about 11,000 followers. Yeah. You're a natural for TikTok because you were already doing short form content. So I'm curious as to whether you plan content for social media or do you just film it when it happens and think I'll bank it and use it later?
No, I film it when it happens generally and probably post it right then too. I think that's my weakness is not not being strategic enough about it, but that's, people say to me, oh, those skits are funny and how do you come up with it? I go, I wait for it to pop into my head. Like there's nothing I can do. If it doesn't pop into my head, I can't, like this morning I dropped off my son at school and I was wearing my lanyard of keys. Nice. My friend's like, where are you, off to netball? And of course, that leads to me going and making a video about being teased at drop off, Yeah. I kind of take the opportunity when it comes because they'll see you if it's in the moment, you're more creative. If you kind of put it down aside, you kind of forget what you're feeling at the time. So I like to just do it when it comes into my head and have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, and it's lots of fun and also funny, I think, as well. Like there's a great joyous spirit to it, and often you're just outright funny. And Ike can be unintentionally funny because he's 3 and he's not trying to be. But I think it was. I certainly look forward to those bits of content through lockdown because, Amber's been to the beach. That's nice.
Well, thanks. Because you've got that whole thing of, oh God, am I making an idiot of myself? But again, I'm just like, people can switch off. They don't have to watch it. So, and I get enough compliments of people saying, look, you brighten my day with you being an absolute fool. And I'm like, well, there you go. I'm absolutely being myself. So that's how my family and friends know me. So now that's how people out on the social media know me.
And the advantage of you being a recording artist, of course, is that you can use your own music on TikTok.
Yes, and that is where it's at. I mean, we're all just trying to get our music discovered on TikTok because there is, James Johnston has proven that there's a lot of value in your song going viral on TikTok.
Does it feel hard to keep track of everything though? Because as I've said, you have a lot of different components to your work and being a recording artist, performer would be enough. You've got radio, different social media platforms operate in different ways. So is it almost like you have compartments in your brain where you're switching between these different things?
I do, yes. I feel like that. And then also the problem with it all is that, you know, what's the thing that you should be spending most of your time on? And it's writing good music.
Mm-hmm.
But social media, you know, demands so much of us that one time I was, you know, I'm walking up the hill after getting my coffee and I was thinking about a TikTok idea, not a song idea, you know? So that I stopped and went, hang on a minute. Shouldn't are we getting this wrong? But my album is done, so I'm also not in the phase of songwriting. And honestly, I do not have any song ideas coming into my mind yet. And I think that's because I've like closed off the album, and you know, I'll wait till I need to start again.
And you, of course, write for a different age group as well. You have an audience that is under 10, and then you have everyone else over that age, and you'll be performing for both of those audiences in Tamworth.
Yeah.
So which of them is hardest to impress?
You know, a lot of people say they hate performing for children because they think they're really hard to impress, but I enjoy it so much because I think for me, it's just an extension of my silly personality. So it doesn't seem hard. It's not like I have to switch and be like, I'm a kids entertainer. I think I find it harder with being an adults entertainer is I have to sometimes be more serious than I am. So, you know, yeah, I actually think adults is harder because kids are less judgmental. They learn judgment. So they are just, and you know, we plan the show really well so we don't have moments for kids to heckle me. Like we have them dancing the whole time and you know, the music is really up tempo and there's no breaks. So there's no chance for them to sort of want to leave.
Well, if anyone would like to see kids attempt to heckle you, they can go to your website and find out where you'll be playing in Tamworth. And also you're playing at West Tamworth Leagues Club. I think
Friday the 22nd.
Friday the 22nd in the afternoon.
April.
They'll come around soon enough. Amber, as I said at the start, it's a treat to speak to you, and it's been lovely to speak to you today. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. I've really enjoyed it.
See you on the red carpet, as in I'll be watching on TV. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.